poverty, and deprivation. It is in your hands to make of our world a better one for all. It is time for new hands to lift the burden. It is in your hands to make a difference.
All right, so Nelson Mandela is a name often uttered in the halls of the United Nations, not just in tribute to his life's work fighting for non-racialism, equality and dignity, but also in keeping his legacy alive. It's been almost a decade since the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution establishing Nelson Mandela International Day after the 4/66664 concert in July 2009. Our US correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease reflects on this annual worldwide tribute to democratic South Africa's founding father.
It was a concert that set the stage for the UNGA's adoption of a resolution later that year, the first time it would establish an international day named after an individual.
Go out and tell the story.
The late Aretha Franklin performed, as did the Soweto Gospel Choir, Stevie Wonder, Josh Groban, and a host of other big names. And over the years, some familiar faces have come out to pay tribute at the UN, like this former US president who reflected on his then 21-year friendship with Madiba.
He proved you don't have to be in public office to serve the public. And that is what this day is all about. That is what the Mandela Center is all about.
This fellow Robben Island inmate and Rivonia trialist also travelled to New York to pay tribute to his old friend in 2013 and talked about the role the UN played in liberating South Africa.
The United Nations has played its part in liberating the people of South Africa. Now you play an even more important role of keeping alive the values that Madiba has given us.
Remember this iconic picture of Madiba voting at the Ohlange School in Inanda, Durban in 1994? Gay MacDougall was standing right next to him over 25 years ago.
I think Americans see him as a hero, as the hero that we needed at the time. Especially, second half of the 20th century, we all felt a little desperate for heroes, for people who symbolize the importance of being true to your principles.
This former UN official, now in his 80s, was a younger Assistant Secretary General for Public Information when Madiba visited the organization for the first time after being elected the first black president of the Republic.
I'm not a South African, but I was inspired by Mandela. All of us were inspired by Mandela because he was not just an example of how somebody would resist prison and endure a really difficult time to reach his objectives, but he really gave all of us a lesson of how we could really stay on the line. And also he opened his hand to his adversaries eventually.
This actor and social activist played Madiba in the film Mandela in 1987.
We must look toward Mandela's legacy not merely as admirers, but as inspired practitioners of his art form. Ultimately, it is not so much the personal spirit of Mandela that we are commemorating today, but rather the excellence with which he embodied the spirit of Ubuntu.
Madiba, I love you so much.
Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.
A world that remains beset by so much human suffering, poverty, and deprivation. It is in your hands to make of our world, a better one.